Welcome everyone to the Zalaris webinar on the SAP SuccessFactors H2 release for 2024. I'm Claire Badger, Vice President Professional Services in Asia Pac, based in Sydney, Australia. I'm a solution architect of SAP SuccessFactors, and I've been working with the product for around 11 years. Joining me today, I have two colleagues, Christoph and Andres. I'll hand over to them for a quick intro. Thanks, Chris.
Hello, welcome. My name is Christoph Gläser. I'm a senior consultant based in Berlin, Germany, and I'm a specialist for LMS, performance and goals, succession and development, and compensation and variable pay. And I'm happy to show and speak about the key highlights of these releases today. So now let's welcome Andres. Hi, Andres.
Thank you, Christoph. Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Missions. I'm from Zalaris, Latvia, based in Riga. I'm a cloud consultant, primarily working with Employee Central and Performance and Goals modules. And I'm working with these solutions for more than 5 years already. And I also will be happy to present today the key features, which brings us new release in second half of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you both for joining me. All right, so today we'll be diving into the most exciting features of the H2 release and what they can mean for your organization. So what are we going to cover today? We are going to cover, firstly, an overview of the key features. These are the highlights as we see them. Obviously, there's a lot of different items that are released as part of this process. We've reviewed all of those, and we're highlighting the ones that we think are most exciting to take a look at. We'll then cover some quick points on best practices for implementation. So things that you need to consider as you consume this information and how you roll that out into your business. And then finally, we'll finish with a Q&A session. We do have a question panel that's open throughout the session, so please do use that to add your questions and we will answer them live where possible. So let's get started. So the overall themes for this release are summarized in 3 key points. The first, new tools and AI for HR efficiency. We saw that starting a lot over the past 2 releases, and this release continues that trend. We also see improved employee experience features. You'll see something a little exciting in the EC space or Employee Central space. And then finally, an upgrade to security. So some of the key features are listed on the screen, but just to name a couple. So the role-based permissions troubleshooting tool, the AI-assisted skills validation in recruitment, the delegation functionality in performance reviews, and the new team view for managers within learning. So let's explore some of these features in more detail. So Andres, being an EC expert, what are some of the key highlights in that space for H2?
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Yeah, so this release brings us one, I think, important new functionality or upgraded functionality, and it's a full profile view in the latest people profile. So as you know, we had the last release some upgrades related to people profile, and it was things called profile preview and spotlight. So let's say what brings us some general overview about employee before we go to their full profile and see the full details about employees. So this release, this full profile view will be upgraded. And when you say upgraded, it means it will be redesigned. And with redesign, of course, coming to the kind of case that there is a similar design through the whole system. And now also people profile will look like the same. So I think the main benefit of it, of course, that it's removing scrolling, which we have now in legacy people profile. So to access specific information, you need to scroll down to find portlet what you're looking for. But now in the latest people profile, it will be these portlets will be divided by categories which we already have now: personal information, job related information, compensation part. So, and now you will just click on specific category and we'll see only the portlets related to this. So you don't need to scroll down, you just click to the right category, kind of the same as tabs in browsers. So, and you will be accessing information that you're looking for. So of course, it's removing time to scrolling. So you just, with a couple of clicks, you get to the place or to the information which you're looking for directly, without spending much time to scrolling and to searching information. And it's will be helpful for employees to look into their data, for managers and HRs specifically when we update data. So all this also will be with this new design, and it looks nice. And I think when we say about reducing time, it's always good. It's what we're also always looking for, to reduce this time.
It is quite a big change, Andres. Is it mandatory, this release, or is it something customers can opt into?
Currently, it's opt-in, so it means that it's by default it's disabled, but customers can enable and try it and see how it looks like. So, of course, as with all such functionalities, it will be mandatory, of course, in some time, but currently, yes, it's only, trying. You can try to see how it looks like and opt out back if you don't think it's ready or you are ready for such changes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So another nice feature, which maybe not so big, but still very nice, is deep links to company structure overview. So as you know, there is this functionality, company structure overview, where you can look into organizational structure. So how it's structured, what departments, division, business units have organization, if it's multiple countries and legal entities, and also you can see how structure looks in different countries, also positions and how many people work in each department, for example. So, but it's currently, let's say, too many clicks to get to this functionality. What brings new feature is that you can create a link which will go you just directly to this functionality, to this structure. So we can put it as in the card on the homepage, and then employees can click and go directly there. Plus, with the possibilities of custom cards on the homepage, you can create kind of a different content for different group of people, meaning that you can create specific link for a specific department or division, and then employees from this department will go directly to their structure, let's say, for their part of organization, how it looks like, not just the whole, or they need to search something by themselves. So it's just directly point them to the right place. So I think it's just nice adjustment, just easy way how to get to org structure information for whole organization basically.
Yeah. I think the people profile enhancements are a really, really good one. SAP are using a lot more of the real estate on the page. I think the previous version or the current version, there's a lot of white space, and we often get feedback from customers on that. And then using that real estate, they're obviously seeing a lot more without the need to scroll. So a lot better for employees and for leaders. So what about the platform area? I think there's been quite a lot of work done in the security or the role-based permission space. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So one of the main, let's say, focuses on this release was role-based permissions. And as we've seen in a couple of releases ago, SAP SuccessFactors introduced so-called latest role-based permission, which is also kind of redesign of current version, and then of course adjustment, and then adding maybe some new functionalities, and release by release it's improving, and this release is not an exclusion. So one of the main features regarding role-based permission is role-based permission troubleshooting tool, which will replace current solution as view user permissions. But of course, it will be more, let's say, comprehensive, because it will allow not only view user permissions, so specific user permission, but also compare permissions between users, which of course brings possibility to help in solving cases when someone lacking some permissions, and then you can compare two employees to see, okay, what is difference, why one maybe have permission and other don't have. So it just helps to find such issues, and it's very nice, because we often have such issues with permissions. Also avoiding, let's say, giving too much permissions, so also to check that all is good with it. So it's very nice feature. So yeah, I think we will use it a lot, let's say.
And there's currently a feature called view user permission, which particularly as consultants, we use that an awful lot. I'm sure customers do as well. So obviously this replaces that. When does view user permissions deprecate? When is that going away?
So currently there is pointed the date in 2025. And so yeah, it's of course always we're giving some time to get used to new functionality, to try it, and then replace it. So that's why we have some time to try new functionality, and then it will be replaced.
Us old school people, we got to retrain the brain and start using the troubleshooting tool.
Yeah, but it's not only this regarding role-based permission. So one more thing, which is kind of obvious maybe, and it was in the legacy version, but to this latest role-based permission, it's only bring this release, it's possibility to copy role. So yeah, it's also just a nice feature, because it's allow to save some time if we need to create some similar roles and need just some small adjustments to remove some permission or add more. So it's just nice not to create it from scratch every time when we need it. And in addition to it, yeah, also smaller thing, but that we can see a status of the role. So meaning, is it active or inactive? So when you open the list of your roles, you just see what is active, what is inactive. Basically, yeah, understanding what is working, what is not working. And yeah, I think last thing also, which will be very useful in some points, it's duration for role-based permission roles, meaning that now you can create some, for temporary time, create role, and then it will kind of be inactive after this end date. So I see it as a good thing, for example, for implementation projects, when we need to give access for a customer during a testing, or basically during a project. But when we they should get, you know, their real roles, depending on their role in the organization. So we don't need to remember that we need to remove permissions, what maybe some admin permission that we gave for them, but we just create a temporary role for project time, and then automatically it's delimiting accesses, and it's just help avoid issues with permissions.
I reckon there's so many use cases for that one, like particularly in talent processes, right? Like succession planning, compensation planning. There are certain features where you want people to, or leaders or comp planners to only see them or be able to do it for a period of time. And so it'd be great to be able to put those time-bound permissions in place, and then, you know, they can automatically switch off. Chris, you can see that being useful in compensation, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, so many great news for the role-based permissions parts. It would come really in handy if we, of course, get that kind of early. But yeah, especially for compensation, where you need from time to time need to grant access to the executive review and then ungrant it. But today we show you some more nicer features or changes regarding compensation. So yeah, that will be even better, the changes for role-based permission, at least for the compensation part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but role-based permission, not only one thing related security, which brings this release, but also important part of security theme is authentication. And what this release bringing, it's informing us basically that step by step SAP SuccessFactors are going from basic authentication, meaning using to authenticate the system with login and password, to more secured ways, such as identity verification service. So they now pointed at 2026 as a year when we will remove fully this basic authentication. So it means that until that period, customers should move from such authentication type to identity authentication service, which also was presented many releases ago. So yeah, of course, passwords, it's not so secure, and also having this identification service, it's working together with single sign-on, meaning that you don't need to input any data. Basically, it just automatically will log in you to the SuccessFactors, and you don't need to have password. You don't need to store it somewhere. Yeah, so of course it's good improvement for security. And this is related not only for logging to the system itself as an employees, but also if you're talking about integration part. So currently also many integrations which send data to SuccessFactor or take data from SuccessFactors, also using basic authentication. So also with using identification service will help also move from this basic authentication for integrations, which also makes, of course, safer process as we during transferring data in modern world, all can happen, and this can be stolen, and then it's very critical, especially when we work with employees' data, personal data, compensation data, so very, very sensitive data. So it's very important to have the best things related to security.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andreas. IAS is definitely a continued key takeout. If it's not something already on roadmap, it's definitely something that customers should be looking at doing, particularly given some of the latest and greatest features from SAP have IAS as a prerequisite. So things like report stories, which again will become mandatory in 2025, replacing the legacy report center or some of the reporting tools. And the other one's the internal career site builder as well. So it is a great thing to start to look at migrating to be ahead of that November 2026 date that we have. And then, yeah, to take advantage of the new great features. All right, Christoph. Learning has been evolving over the past few releases. They introduced the new learning experience. There's been some, mixed feedback. They've taken some time to reach feature parity. What does this release do for that journey?
Yeah, so the release of the new learning experience is coming closer and closer, and some of you might have noticed during the testing, because if you remember, you can like on the top right side, you can switch on and off like from the old view to the new view and back. And maybe you noticed while testing like the new learning experience that some features were not there. For example, like the manager view or the before it was called like the team view. That has still like the old design and UI experience. And with that release, SAP of course enhanced all the features which are still in an old view to the new learning experience. And one of the big steps was like the overhaul of the manager view, so that it's more simplified, more streamlined, also more clean up. Of course, you have um, the new view, how the new look and feel. And yeah, that's also now in place. So if you can't wait for that, so now you can test like the manager's functionalities. So that's really great that SAP is enhancing that. And for sure, you will find some other features which maybe are still in an old view, but there's still some time for SAP for the full release for the new learning experience until it becomes mandatory.
Yeah.
Then we have something which is called like custom pages. So the SAP introduced for learning custom pages. You can have up to 5 custom pages for your user experience, for your users. These custom pages you can use you can add like some kind of up to 5 banners there to highlight any kind of training or information you want to highlight. Or you can add some cards, right? Where these are like the new tiles, but they are called cards now, where you can also put like special links to, maybe it's like you have to do some government training, which is like from the official side of the government. So you can link them there and redirect to the pay government page, because before that, maybe you had just to create if you maybe some of you have it like the custom tiles and put up the link there. Now you can have like cool, nice banners or these cards to link to these kind of trainings if you want to, right? And you can have up to 5 custom pages, which you then can customize with these banners and custom cards. And then, of course, we have, and I think that's also a really nice feature, is like the automatic import of items from the OCN content network. So beforehand, you have to do it quite often manually, and who likes to do things manually, right? When you can do it in an automated way fashion, and with the new feature, you can do it now so that the items are created automatically in the system. In addition to that, of course, like a lot of AI features are coming as well into the release. And to that, there's also like an update regarding that AI is helping you to connect attributes to your OCN trainings. And as a reminder, the attributes, it's kind of a new term in the LMS system for skills and competencies and qualifications. And they renamed it to a little bit more general so that you can have use like a broader range of uses you want to use it for. So that it's not just like qualification, competencies, and skills, but maybe you have something other in mind in your company or in your company language, so that you can attach these to your learnings as well, right? Let's say a certificate, as an example. I think these are really great changes for the learning. Of course, there are some more changes here and there, but from my side, these were like the 3 key highlights for the learning part.
The OCN one is really good. Like, it seems so small, but those extra clicks that you had to do to import were quite frustrating sometimes. So small but very impactful, and as you say, it moves a lot of manual steps from LMS administrators. All right, what about succession and career development? Anything you'd highlight there?
Yeah, as always, I would say succession and development, they are almost only small changes, but that doesn't mean that they're bad or boring, but rather they're like on a minimalistic way, but still they're nice because they're enhancing the user experience in the system. For example, for succession, we have that you can now link if a position is directly linked to a talent pool, you can now directly in the succession org chart can directly click on the position, and there on the right side there's a small plus, and if you click on that plus, you can immediately add someone from a talent pool to that position. And then this process starts where he then asks you, of course, okay, how long does it take for the person to be taken over the role in the succession planning manner? And then you can write in a comment and you can save, and then you made like your succession planning. So here, of course, small feature, but still like streamlined and more enhanced. So it's user friendly, right? So you're saving some clicks, let's say it like that. And that's like always nice if we can save some clicks here and there for
Always
our
the
work.
aim, save the clicks.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have like for the development part, we are talking here about the career worksheet, that they also overwork the career worksheet. I like to say that some things look like from 1998. Of course, that's not true. It looks more modern, but now it's like, at least now I can say it looks from 2024. They have that updated the career worksheet. So if you want to see like more insights, what could be your next step in your career, they updated the navigation chart. It's like the chart view. So you have, if you remember the old chart view, it was really minimalistic and you couldn't, maybe it was not satisfying from an eyes perspective, but now they overhauled it to like as well to the new standard of UI, so that you have like a fast and better view with some new features here and there. And what they additionally added is you have now like a chart view, so that you see a lot of different tiles, where it then maybe recommends, okay, that's your position right here. If you would do like your next step, that could be your career option. Like in a consulting business, let's say it's a usual, you're a consultant and you want to be like the next step would be a senior consultant, so you can see what will be there. But of course, there's something now, this kind of option where it shows, okay, people's from your current position also often changed, or like these positions or these roles is here the correct term, right? Maybe that's something you might be interesting, or with these attributes, skills, competencies you have gained, and with this kind of work experience you have, maybe something else, like the system is recommending other roles where you might fit in, right? So maybe the system recognizes here and says, yeah, maybe you are now more interested in sales, right? You have a broad of presentation skills, and it seems to be like, hey, you like presenting, talk to people. So maybe, yeah, consulting is great. It's a good, you have now a good knowledge, but yeah, maybe sales is the right path. So a lot of things are coming there for the career worksheet. So that's a nice enhancement, and that's now up to date with the new look for 2024. And we have one other feature.
Just nice. Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
go
just
ahead,
one
Andres. No worries.
short comment, but also liking the new way how it looks like this career worksheet, and it's very nice having yeah, different categories for recommendation that it's bringing based on different information, and also when you have now all, let's say, information related to your career in one place, so skills, competencies, and also your career roles, your current, your future, that all this brings in one place. It's very nice when you don't need to click in different places, but all what is you looking for regarding your current role and for your future role, all what is needed you see in one place. It's very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
I
right?
agree.
And now you have like it shows you like your top matches, right? Then what could be your next career move? Then what are the trending roles you are in, or roles like people like you, right? It's like from learning, you made this training. Other people made that training. Maybe you want to join Jet, or if you buy something in an internet shop, hey, you just bought that nice candle. Now you want to buy a lighter to light it up, something. So it makes like recommendation, and I think it's really good that SAP is stepping up here and enhancing that, enhancing the systems like that with AI.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I agree, and you're really growing on that AI trend that I said was a theme of this release. So with that in mind, Andreas, AI in performance and goals, did we see anything AI related?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, performance and goals, not an exclusion, and also AI features coming release by release. For example, previous release there was a goal creation AI feature, so which will help to create goals for employees. And this release, for example, there's just enhancement to this functionality. So, for example, adding the possibility to create the content for custom fields in the goal creation part. So it's also very nice. So it's generating text also for custom, not only for standard fields such as name, description, for example. And it's also follow more on the setup of a goal plan. So let's say it's not creating goals for greater period than the goal plan is. So it's also these double checks are happening. So that's why this release also happening some enhancement AI features, which was presented previous release. But fully new one is regarding continuous performance management and skills recommendation based on information from this part of the module. So whatever you adding new activity or achievement, or you write some comments to your activities, so AI can help to find there if you're mentioning some skills what maybe you want to work or you're already having it. And if it's find the new find skill in your library, it's adding it as a recommended skill for you in your growth portfolio in the common place where you can look into your skills and competencies. So it just will pop up as a recommendation, and you can click and add it to your list or to your portfolio, or of course you can ignore if you don't think that it's relevant. But in case if it's finding something what is not already created, it also will create it for you and will add it for your library. But of course, will be some administrator approval needed just to agree that okay, it's really relevant for our organization, for our library, and it's good to have it there. So still there is some control, of course, that not incorrect or not relevant things created for you. But as soon as it's find it, you can add it to your list very easily, and you don't need to look into manually to find skills what you want to work or when you want to add to your portfolio. And awesome. But of course, AI features not only what's happening in performance and goals, and there is also some other nice features. And one of them is basically just bringing or filling the gap from the legacy version, because as you know, yes, goal management also have kind of latest version. So redesign, which is coming, I think from 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So, and step by step, it's adding some new functionalities or also filling the gaps from the legacy version. And in this release, such functionality is link and align goals, which was available before. So it's just adding possibility to link goals from you to another employee. So I think it's more relevant for managers, so they can link their goals with their direct report goals, and which will create a link. And in the goal alignment chart, this link will be showed, the connections, and it will help to overview the goals of direct reports for managers, and also click on it and see details. And if somehow this goal or employee's goal helping to achieve also manager's goals, then you also can easily follow how employees working on this goal, what is the status. So it's just adding visibility easily to look through these connections. And of course, this unalign, meaning that you can remove this link if it's not relevant anymore, not necessary, something changed. So then, also with the right permissions, you can unlink this connection, and then it's not connected anymore.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think you can also like to add like the link codes between team members, right? Because often we are working in teams and not alone, so maybe that's like a team effort, right? So that's, I think, a really cool feature for performance and goals. And then two people are making like working on a project maybe, so that's their goal to achieve that. So I like that feature a lot. It's really cool that you have now these possibilities as well.
Yeah, it's real nice. Yeah, and I agree with it. Can be also not only, of course, manager can use it, but it can be a connection between team members' goals if they are connected and help achieve each other goal, let's say. But another thing which brings this release is a delegation functionality in performance form specifically, because you know that there is the functionality delegation already, let's say, more on platform or employee central level. Then, for example, you can delegate your workflows approval, so approval processes for some time. So now there is a specific possibility to performance forms, or review process. So I see it in cases there is a happening unexpected long leave, for example, for manager, and in the middle of the performance review process, and not to, let's say, stop or somehow excluding employee from review process. Manager or administrator on behalf of manager can add delegator for delegate this work on the form. So let's say that another manager, for example, will kind of replace and will be a manager during the performance review process. They will make an assessment, they will make a talk with employee. So now it's just possible not to go to change manager somewhere in EC for some time and then get back, so that form transfer to correct manager. But now you can just use the delegation option just for temporary time, because you have a duration for what time you put this replacement, let's say, and then you can just easily participate in the process until this process. And this delegator can be set basically specific form based. So it's not basically about whole process or something. It's really about each employee. So you also can put different persons if needed. And it's just nice to have some way how to continue a process in case if something happening and manager are on long leave from their work, let's say.
I reckon this is awesome. The amount of times we have to route forms or, as you said, change managers. I can think of other use cases as well, right? So it could be that maybe they've had a recent manager change and you want to delegate to the previous manager so that they can add some commentary. Like, I think there's a lot of use cases, and it reduces admin so much having to push the forms around everywhere. So I reckon that's really exciting. Makes a lot of sense anyway.
Yep.
Thank you, Andres. All right, so talking now a bit about the recruitment module. So there has been even more AI introduced into the recruitment space. And I guess it somewhat continues off both Chris and of what both Chris and Andreas were talking about around skills. So the first one I want to highlight is the AI-assisted skills validation for recruiters. So what the AI can do is look at a job description. It can extract and categorize skills that it identifies within that job description. Recruiters can then use those skills to build into the requisition that they're posting, which will then allow better matching of candidates or more suitable candidates being matched to the requisition and being highlighted as best fit candidates. So I think that's a great time saver. And then building on that, they then have introduced AI-assisted applicant screening. So using that sort of same functionality we just spoke about, the AI can also be used to screen applicants by automatically matching the candidates to requisitions based upon the CV that the candidate has loaded. So the AI will scan the CV or the resume, and then it will highlight them to requisitions based on the fact that, you know, they have a certain skill. So I think that's really, really useful. There's also in the careers site where you can also show the skills feature to the candidate as they're looking for roles. So again, they can load their CV. It can say to them, well, look, these are the skills that we've identified in your CV or your resume. Therefore, here are some roles that we think would be relevant to you based on those skills. So really that holistic skills view, and also, I guess, providing some benefit to your applicants, right? So really positioning yourself as an employer of choice as well, giving them a cool tool to be able to actually say to them, look, this is what we think you could do from a job perspective. So yeah, really exciting, and really fast forwarding that kind of AI journey for recruitment. Then moving on to onboarding. So onboarding had a few little bits and bobs. I think the one that was most exciting to me was the enhancements to the process variant manager. So what the process variant manager is effectively the rules and the process builder that we use to design your onboarding process. And over time, since onboarding 2.0 has come out, that's really evolved. So when it first came out, it was very kind of lateral in nature. It was like, you do this task, then you do this task. And it was follow the bouncing ball. But obviously not all onboarding processes are that way. We want things to happen concurrently, or we're happy to have multiple tasks happening at the same time. Also, when onboarding 2.0 came out, there were kind of defined activities that would be included. Now, what this new process variant manager does is allows us to build in a lot more custom tasks as part of the onboarding process, and also move them to be running concurrently. So, you know, they could be completing their compliance forms at the same time as they're also reviewing some other activities for their new starter journey. So this provides great flexibility for us, particularly with organizations where you're dealing with multi-country or multi-entity. So I think we can build some great processes with this enhancement. So very excited about that. All right, so speaking of better experiences and more flexibility, Chris, compensation module, I'm pretty sure there have been few improvements there. I think compensation statement editor was one of those. What can you tell me?
Yeah, so let's start directly with the compensation statement editor. So I think that's a really huge change they have made for the user experience again for here as well, right? So now you can, and I have to make like a note next to my computer because these words are short but tongue-breaking to remember, like XML and XSL. You see it already happening, XSL files. So yeah, beforehand you have been created them in the test system, and they're really happy and said, oh, they look like really nice. That's what we wanted to have. And now you wanted to move them to the production system. And now you see like, oh, I cannot export them, I cannot import them. And now that changed, right? So now if you want, if you have created an XSL form or XML form, your compensation statement, then now you can export it and import it into the production system. And then we had here the next issue was, even if you have it already in the system, you couldn't edit it anymore. Also strange, right? Why you cannot edit normally, like in an editor, your XML and XLL compensation statements, but now you can do it as well. So I think that's like a really great feature enhancement that they did. And also here, that was like a huge request from the customer community. So we always encourage you, if you see like a customer request and you think, oh, that sounds really great, please vote for it. As you can see, still stuff is happening, right? So if enough people are voting for something, SAP will have a look into it and changes will come into the system. And one of them was, of course, the compensation statement editor. And the next one, which I mentioned already a little bit further when Andres was speaking about role-based permissions, is the enhancement, like the executive review based on route map steps, right? So I think everybody of you who's working with compensation and uses executive reviews and has some processes where you managers or HRBPs have something to do at a certain time and date to add some values in the compensation worksheets, you have to grant manually like the role-based permissions to it, right? But the problem was if you have like maybe a combined step, or if you wanted that the managers haven't access anymore to the executive review, but the HRBPs should have still access to the executive review, and that the problem is here if it's like on the same date and time, right? The same time and date frame. Then if you would take it away, then also the HRBPs couldn't access the executive review anymore because the manager shouldn't have access. And now that was also like a huge request. You can now define like based on the route map step. So you are now on route map step 1 and says here, please have a look and write in maybe the first step, the values you want to put in the compensation work step, and you can then grant per role like write or read permissions, like edit. I think it's edit and write permissions. And now it's going like through your whole compensation route map step, and you can exactly define which role has when access and can only read or only edit or doing both, and which kind of steps. So I think that's also a huge change. And it comes really handy. I think you will love it if you use compensation. Of course,
100%. That's really good. And I think that's something customers have asked for so long, because so many customers are turning permissions on and turning them off, and with the executive review. So this will again remove some admin burden, but it also just makes sense.
Yeah, and you don't have you know put your fingers in the role-based permissions anymore.
Yeah,
even if they are getting these kind of nice features. But yeah, it's I think it's now a much better approach to handle these kind of stuff.
100%.
Yeah. And yeah, so these are the most greatest changes here. Of course, there are some AI changes as well here. Which are mostly like for like assisting writing some kind of stuff here. But yeah, statement and data for compensation and yeah, executive review on route map step are my top highlights, I think, for the whole release for all modules. But I'm biased
big
here.
call, Chris. Big call. All right, so lots of features. We could be here for hours talking about absolutely everything that's come out, but they are the key highlights. Now, obviously, this happens to us twice a year. We go through these releases, and obviously it has an impact on your organization. And there's things that you should be thinking about as you go through this. So, Chris, what are some of the key things that you can recommend from a best practice perspective for customers as they're going through this release process?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's based like on 3 pillars here. So one is like user training, where we recommend, invest in training sessions to familiarize your colleagues, your team members with the new functionalities, so that that they feeling good with the new changes here. Then the second pillar is regarding the change management. Of course, all the changes which are happening needs, of course, communicated through the company and through the team who's using the system, so that you make sure that you have like a smooth transition from the older experience to the newer experience. Of course, some features are just small, right? Maybe that's not the issue here, but now with all these AI features, the UI experience changes, looking now into the LMS, I mean, it's completely looking differently, right? It's change management is like really a huge factor in here. And then, of course, generate feedback, right? Encourage for continuous feedback to get like a better user experience here, because it's really important either what your colleagues or team members who are using the system are thinking about the new features and about the system, but also for your employees who use it as a user basis, right? So that we say, put in some mechanism to getting feedback.
Great recommendations, Chris. Great recommendations. All right, it's come to that time of the session where we are going to open the floor for questions. So please do use that questions box and feel free to ask anything about the H2 release. So while we're loading up some questions, we do have some that came through as we were going through. All right, Chris, I reckon this one's going to be for you. When will the new learning experience become mandatory?
So right, there was a lot of confusion regarding the new learning experience, and it's a really good question. So the new learning experience is getting to be mandatory in spring 2025. So it's around May, I assume, when the next release come out, then it's mandatory for everybody.
About to say, your spring is not my spring.
Yeah, sorry, that's true actually. So Europe spring, let's say in Europe spring, and then for you it's winter, right, Claire?
Roundabout, yeah.
Yeah, so let's keep in general. In May 2025, the new learning experience will be mandatory. Now you have the possibility to switch it off. And as a small reminder here, with that release, it might be that the new learning experience is switched on automatically. So be prepared to switch the button off if you still want to use the old learning experience, or the old view. Sorry, it's not an experience anymore, but the old view that you can then configure in the administration center for learning.
Thank you, Chris. All right, we've got another one. I'll put it out to both of you. What do we need to do to get the AI functionality?
So that's the thing, what's changing here and there, and that's changing sometimes quite fast, but what we know so far, and it also may change regarding your region. I'm now speaking again here, maybe a little more about Europe, so that you need like the succession and development license to getting like the key, AI functionalities, but it can change maybe from in Australia as well. So what we recommend to you is like, please get in contact with us, or please get in contact with your SAP contact person. You're speaking with these kind of things, but yeah, let's say for the Euro part, it's like you have succession development, and then you get the AI functionalities with that.
Awesome. Good answer, Chris. Now, I think we've got time for one more. So any other questions that we've got, we will respond to after the webinar via email. But the final question for today. So was there anything new in EC time management, or time off, I guess?
Yeah.
Andreas, I reckon you can take that one.
Yes, sure. Yeah, so of course there is some adjustments also to this part. And I think the main one is feature called temporary holiday calendar assignment. So there is already a functionality called the temporary work schedule assignment when you can assign temporary work schedule for some period of time for employees. It can be different reasons, but now what is possible is also to assign temporary holiday calendar. So I think the most used case will be a business trips when you global assignments, for example, when you for some period of time going to another country and will work there for some time. So, and you need to work, let's say, and work and rest based on that country calendar. So you can assign temporary the holiday calendar of country where you will be located. And of course, it will affect, payroll, and also how many, when you work, when you don't work. So it's just, nice that you can easily make these adjustments, which also will affect, in such process as payroll, as I mentioned. So that's why it's just really nice to have such possibility to assign temporary holiday calendar.
Awesome. Thank you, Andres. All right, well, that's bringing us up to about the hour. So thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate your time and your interest in the Zalaris H2 SuccessFactors release review. If you do have any further questions or you want to discuss how Zalaris can support your HR initiatives, please do reach out. We hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.